Oh yeah, so you want to be okay. Oh, she's coming. Okay, okay, fine. Okay, okay, all right. She didn't want to come up to the front. Did I give you your bag? Oh, no, that's right. Good, yeah. Yeah, these. You got a decal for your truck? Okay, that's your decal for your truck. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. But,
You know, so yeah, that's my seat. I just gotta stay at the. No, I've been thinking for my leg. That leg.
I'm on the board. I don't think I'm tweaking it. Yeah, I don't see it. Upgraded. This is for food truck. If you want to join. Okay. It's not fake shit. You talk about fake. I know what you're got.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All very respectful. Much. I didn't even say that. I had to like say something. Y'all feel the same time. Somebody about to say something. I was ready for it. So good morning, everybody. My name is Kelsey Maynard. I am the director of Small Business Engagement for Showcase Atlanta. Say it one time. There we go. A little light in this room. This is an opportunity for us to kind of get on, I would say, the same page. Some of us are on pages and other ones aren't. Now, some people aren't even in the book yet. And so I wanted to make sure that we had this moment in time where we could address who's been your success here in the city of Atlanta, right? So if you're not familiar with Showcase Atlanta, show of hands. Who's heard of Showcase? Who has not? So you heard of Showcase Atlanta? No. 7 of y'all. Cool. So Showcase Atlanta is the mayor's vision for how the city, the businesses, the community should, or how he wants them to operate when it comes to large-scale events. Some of us know large-scale events, but some of us start listing off like World Cup. We're going to say Super Bowl. We're going to say Final Four, the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Those are large events for some of us, right? Then some people will say, no, well, I did something where Beyonce was in town, and I made a lot of money when Beyonce concert. She did four shows. I was here for Taylor Swift. We got Bruno Mars. We got Lady Gaga. We got Cardi B. Everybody wants to come to Atlanta to do their concert. They don't just do one show. They usually do a couple, 3, 4, 5 shows sometimes. And so when we're talking about large-scale events, we're not just talking about sports. We're not just talking about concerts. Because I've been telling this joke a lot lately because it was funny to me. It might not be a joke, but it was funny to me. Does anybody in here sell chicken? Anybody in here sell chicken? Stop it. Does anybody in here sell chicken? When I say chicken, I mean chicken wings, chicken, anything with chicken in it. You sell it? Show your hands for real. I want to be honest. Honestly. Half of y'all, majority of y'all, we sell chicken. Right? So this funny thing happened a month and a half ago, maybe a month and a half now. There was a poultry convention that was in town. Anybody heard of the poultry convention? Yeah. You've heard about it. One person. So there's okay, three. Poultry convention is the largest poultry convention that happens in the nation. Happens here every year, right? Have any of y'all engaged with the poultry convention? Two of y'all shake your head. These kind of conversations we're trying to have, right? Because everybody raised their hand and say that I sell chicken, but nobody's engaged with the poultry convention. I say it's funny because in that same month, in the Gold Dome, the Capitol, they were voting on like the state flavor chicken wing. Like lemon pepper should be the state flavor, yes. Right? We're having conversations like that about flavors of chicken wings, but our small businesses aren't engaged with the largest poultry convention happening in the city in the same month. Not because anybody's fault, but it's like, how do we get organized, right? So I'll give you one more picture. Anybody ever been on a cruise? On a cruise? Everybody. Good Lord. Okay. Get on a cruise, you get off the cruise ship, dock somewhere, you get off the cruise ship, and it feels like the entire city has been waiting on you to get off the ship. It's like the music, as soon as you hit that, boom, the music starts playing, people got happy hours and drink menus, there's tours, there's all kinds of things going on. It seems like everybody is so coordinated. How do we get like that? How do we make sure that when people come to the city of Atlanta for their conventions, concentration, for their World Cups, for their football games. When Indiana was in town, how many people got caught off guard by the number of people walking around here from Indiana last month? Everybody was like, whoa, where did people come from? So I'm gonna finish this joke because the mayor was walking, got back from one trip, and on Instagram, what we say a lot on Instagram, we see all the traffic, all the people in Atlanta. They were like, man, we full. I just got back from a place that soon as we got off the plane, they was welcoming us. I come back to Atlanta, first thing I see is we full. Go on back where y'all came from. Y'all laughing too. It was funny. We say it and it's funny, but in all honesty, when we're talking about small business, we're talking about economics, we're talking about how does the city make money? How do our businesses make money? How do we take advantage of these opportunities economically? Right? That's the conversation we want to have. But in having that conversation, we also have to make sure that we are ready for the things we're asking for. Now, I've been in rooms before, I've been in banks before, and I asked for $3 million. I got a business idea. Everybody told me it's $1 million idea. I need $1 million to make it happen. And they're gonna look at you and say, well, have you done X, Y, Z? Dotted this I, crossed that T. I might have done 3 of them, I haven't done all of them. So I'm not necessarily ready. So part of the conversation we're gonna have today and make sure we have the people in place, make sure that we're ready. That's what Showcase Atlanta's initiative is. Make sure that our businesses are ready. And ready doesn't just mean you got to do a lot of work. You got to go take this course. You got to go study this thing. You got to go get this document. But it also means like, hey, does readiness for you look like access to capital? Someone's like, yeah, so I can get a loan. If I can get some money real quick, I'll be on the move. Cool. So we brought on corporate capital partners. We have some banks that we partner with. We have some banks that Invest Atlanta has identified. We have Invest Atlanta. If you haven't heard of Invest Atlanta, that gives low interest rate loans to small businesses. We have put those things in place. We also have workshops so you can know what it is they require of you before you get there. Cool, that's not good enough. Cool, let's have a partnership with the fire department. Make sure that you have the documentation. You know what the steps are. I just came out of court. I've been in court since 9 o'clock this morning, trying to follow the steps. I seen there's missing parts. Like I did this, and then they were like, well, you were supposed to do this in order to get the next step. How am I supposed to know that? So I realized I run into those same issues, and so I bring people in the room and fill in those gaps, right? So I think that's part of our concern as well. Showcase Atlanta is going to make sure that we not only put the playbook together, but we got people in keeping all successfully say, hey, if I did this, I did this, I did this, like they said, like this department said, like that department said, like this person said, I should be ready for the opportunities I come from the city of Atlanta. I got the information, I got the readiness, I got the money, I'm ready, right? Lamar, that do a good job of explaining.
Amazing, awesome sauce.
Lamar is our interim executive director of Showcase Atlanta. We're happy to have him here as well. Are y'all clapping? Okay, clap it up for Lamar. We work every day. I'm talking about calls on Sunday, calls Saturday morning. You hear our kids jumping on our backs in the background, but we'll make sure that we're working and organizing things to make sure that all our businesses are prepared, not just for World Cup, but we're saying World Cup and beyond. Because if y'all think the city of Atlanta's gonna stop in August, you're mistaken, right? And so if we don't hit this one, there's many more opportunities to do well. I keep telling people this: if you are looking at the World Cup like your home run, you're gonna miss first base. Because first base is Bruno Mars in a couple weeks. First base could be Lady Gaga. First base could be the next conference that's in town, and then after that, there's so many things to build up to this moment, and then beyond that moment, that we'll continue to win if we just take one base at a time. Right? So I don't want to get too much talking. I said enough talking. I do want to introduce our partners because today, what makes sense of being that bringing the resources into the room.
Yeah.
No, you put stuff on mute. If y'all need Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi password is right here. But as I was mentioning, part of the thing that I want to make sure happens is that when we all leave here,
Leaving it. We're out in Phillies.
like Carl. Hey Carl, put stuff on mute. When y'all leave here, the objective is not for everybody to come looking for me. Right? There are resources in this room. They're gonna do some presentations and presenting. The objective of the game for anybody that's in food vending, everybody in food vending, everybody got a mobile truck, food truck, they want to do hot dogs on the side of the road, anything like that. The objective is not for all y'all to come find me. Not gonna do you no good. And when August comes, talking to me is not gonna do you any good. Why? Because all the resources that make sure you are in good standing with the city, the county, and the state are gonna speak after me. Calling me is gonna do you no good. The Food Truck Association of Georgia is by far your best resource. Because when I first learned about the Food Truck Association of Georgia, it was a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, so how do you know where things are happening? How do you know where to pull your truck up? How do you know when it's legal? How do you know what to do when? Where's a group of people I can talk to find out the do's and don'ts and the hurts and the won'ts? How do I do that? They were like, you gotta call the Food Truck Association of Georgia. So if you call me, step one is already wrong. Just call Food Truck Association of Georgia, whom I have come up here in a second and speak. But also, if you're in the city of Atlanta, if you're in the city of Atlanta, if you're in the city of Atlanta proper, not like East Point, Atlanta, not Decatur, Atlanta, not I'm in Smyrna, but it says Atlanta on my address, Atlanta. If your commissary kitchen is in Atlanta, then raise your hand. Invest Atlanta. Not bad. Invest Atlanta is an organization, is the economic development arm of the city of Atlanta, out of the mayor's office, department that you want to get familiar with. But not only do they have resources for access to capital, they also have access to capital. I think right now, Richard, our interest rate on our loans is 4%, no higher, 4%. So if you need some access to capital, we got a readiness loan he's going to talk about later on. 4% interest rate, get it to you fairly quickly. The terms are incredible. So things you want to know about. So our partners today, Food Truck Association of Georgia, Showcase Atlanta, and Invest Atlanta. All the talking I'm gonna do for now. I'm gonna bring it over to Food Truck Association, Food Truck Association of Georgia. Talk about what they do, and also introduce the next people that we're talking to. All right? Right.
Good morning. Thank you all for coming.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Josh. I'm just going to quickly introduce myself and the FTAG membership. And again, we are with Showcase Atlanta. We decided to put this on, give all the information to everybody. We have a lot of different speakers that are going to speak about pretty much everything you need to know about the food truck vending type of business. hopefully touch on some, FIFA things, that's coming up and some other big things. So I'm Joshua Brown. I'm the, president of FTAG. We have Miss Alicia right here. Guys, she is the one that put pretty much all this together. So she is the glue for this type of event. We got our vice chair, Miss Tamika. We have Kim back there. They're all waving. We got Brandon back there. Darren right here. Oh, Carl, I don't think Carl's here. Where's Montrell? Can you tell Montrell to come in here? Montrella's doing registration out there, and then we got Miss Crystal as well. She's out there. She'll be speaking a little later. If you guys don't mind, just giving us a little clap real quick for putting this on. Hopefully you guys get a lot of information. There'll be a lot more follow-up. So please, if you haven't, make sure your email's out there so that if we got more information, we can email that out to you guys. I'm not going to talk too much longer. So right now we're going to go ahead and go with the Fulton County Environmental Health. They're going to go up here and talk, and they're going to give you guys all the information. Oh, please turn your phones off, number one. And then two, save all your questions to the end. I know you guys have a lot of questions. We do have some time at the end to ask our questions. So if you guys can save those, just get the information, write down your questions, and then we'll circle back when we can, okay?
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jamari Stewart. I'm from the Fulton County Board of Health. I'm one of the health educators, and this is Valerie Finley.
Hi, everyone.
Also one of the health educators for Fulton County Board of Health. So we're the individuals who pretty much train everyone that comes through Fulton County Board of Health as of recently and everything. So, but we also are the main ones who, anytime there is a new legislation or anything, update our people so we're all on one page to make sure when they come see you all, they're up to date on everything, okay? So we're going to talk about the permitting process for food trucks or whatever, and we're going to start right at this.
How many of y'all have an active food truck right now in Fulton County? Everyone's got a permit? Yeah? Sounds good, I'm just kidding. So we are gonna go over the permitting process, so that's gonna be some old information for some of y'all. But if you have questions at the end, we'll definitely answer them. So the application process starts with y'all turning in the application, and it's assigned to an inspector. We have 3 offices: Alpharetta, Central Atlanta, and then College Park. So depending on where your base of operations is going to be or your commissary, that's usually where you'll turn in your application. It's assigned to an inspector. We will review the application, approve it, and let you know. Then we set up an initial inspection in which we go to your commissary and your food truck. We can just do 2 in 1. After that, we issue you a permit. And then from there, we do a 60-day inspection. Now that you have food and you're operating, let's just see how you're doing. And then from there, it's a routine inspection. And those typically are between around 6 months or twice a year. Okay, simple information. The food truck is required to have a permanent base of operations. So if you have a food truck, you have to have a base of operations or a commissary. Wow.
All right. So in reference to the base of operations, you can have a standalone base of operation. Basically, it does not serve food, only prepares it for the food truck. So you'll see that with your ghost kitchens a lot of times. Some individuals that have like ghost kitchens, they're only working out the truck. Not that you can't do anything in there as far as like not prepping anything. You can always prep in there. However, you're not selling to the public as if it was Chipotle or McDonald's or something like that. Or on the other hand, you can have a base of operation where it can be both a restaurant that serves food and the base for a mobile food unit, right? It might be a case of, let's say we have Mexican Willie's or whatever. A lot of times those individuals do have mobile units, so they'll have the retail side of things, and then they'll turn around and have the mobile unit outside that's attached to this very well establishment, okay? So that's also an option. The base of operation permit holder and food truck permit holder must be the same owner. We come across that issue a lot of times where somebody be like, okay, so I own the truck, but I want to use his kitchen. If it's not under the same owner, you can't do it, okay? So no base permit means no food truck permit, okay? So we want to make sure whenever we are permitting these places, they both have the same owner. I want to reiterate that we get this a lot, trust me. All right. So some of the requirements for these basic operations. You want to make sure you have a 3-compartment sink with drain boards on each side. We're looking for hand sinks. We want to make sure if you're going to be prepping in this area, you have the ability to at least wash your hands, right? What about the prep sinks? What if you got raw meat? What if you got raw vegetables? You need these items to make sure that, when you're prepping, everything will be good. And then a mop sink. We expect you to clean these places, right? So I don't want to see mops in the 3-compartment sink or anything like that. Yes, some people will try to do that. That's not okay. So you need a place where you're able to create mop water and also dump as well, okay? And you also, if you are cooking in there, exhaust hood, if applicable. Not all the time people cook in their basic operation. This is only if it applies. And then we want to see an equipment schedule. So we want to make sure that you're providing us with a layout of your facility so we know where everything is, what it looks like. So by the time we walk in there, we need it to match whatever you gave us, okay? And then a dumpster. For obvious reasons, we want to make sure we have a place to where we are getting rid of our waste, all right? So some other requirements for the mobile unit, potable water and wastewater storage tanks capacities. We want to make sure whatever you're doing on that truck, your tanks can match that capacity for the freshwater tank and the dump tank, okay? So when you're washing your hands and it's collecting, you want to make sure you have a big enough tank to withstand your operation. We also need specification on the potable water pump. So usually when you're turning in your application, we ask you to give the spec sheet of your equipment, and that includes the water pump. And the size of the calculations, just reiterating the initial point. We also want to know the placement of the water inlets and outlets for the potable water tanks. Because when we look at your mobile unit, we do look at those, especially when we're permitting you initially, okay? Note, wastewater tanks must be 15% larger in the capacity. There we go. In the capacity than the freshwater tank. Because a lot of times, the waste that you're giving out is a lot more than whenever you're just putting in, okay? So you want to make sure we have a big enough tank for when you dump in there, you might throw something else in there outside of the water that comes from the sink itself, So we want to make sure it's 15% larger capacity than a freshwater tank, all right? Some additional information needed that we'll need, mobile unit location listing. So a lot of times you can't just go to Kroger parking lot and post up. That's not okay, without approval at least. So whenever you're going to these places, we like to have a list of everywhere you're going. And then we want to make sure that property use agreement form is turned in so we know that you have the permission to be at that Kroger parking lot, okay? So, or at that gas station, because we'll see that a lot. We'll go past the Chevron and next thing you know, we'll see a grill outside and we know good and well that individual isn't permitted with us because that's already a no-go in itself, okay? And then actually a toilet use agreement form. We already know that these mobile units do not have toilets on there. We actually don't want that. That's too close to the vicinity of food, right? But in the event that you need to use it, where would you go, right? You can't just go outside and pop a squat. We want to make sure that the same people who gave you approval to, operate on their property or whatever, also gave you the approval to go use it. Okay. So, if it's in the middle of the night, it's closed, but they gave you a key. Hey, go through the back door, use the restroom, do your business, whatever. Just lock back up. That's okay with us. All right.
All right, that was a lot of information. Does anyone have any questions so far? Yes, ma'am.
For the permit,
Why are you telling me to like this? Don't want to hear it around. Like, you don't know, girl. Why can't you ever just be?
Put it on.
the permit holder, does it have to be an individual or can it be a business entity?
So it can be a
It can be
business. We just want to see the same thing on both the permits. So I'll give you an example. So this is just what an initial inspection report looks like. Just wanted to give you guys a look at it. But these are what our permits are going to look like. So when you apply and are approved and we do your initial inspection, you'll receive these permits. So this comes after the initial inspection. So these are the same folks, LLC, individual, it doesn't matter. So you'll have a food service permit that goes in your base of operations, and you'll receive a mobile food service unit permit that goes in the window of your food truck. Whatever, like if you have a cart, a coffee cart. So this is required.
Can we use a permit from Noonan in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Real quick, can we hold questions to the end? That way, it's not gonna run over. So we have time for questions at the end, but we can just hold to the end.
Sounds good. Okay, and then just another look at routine inspections happen every 6 months or so. So I'll show you guys that too. This is the letter of authorization. So how many of y'all with already operating trucks are not permitted in Fulton County? Anyone? Okay, so if you want to operate in Fulton County, you have to receive a letter of authorization from us. So you will apply for this, and I'm going to show you our website real quick with all the links so you can easily access all of this information. So letter of authorization is what you fill out for us. And we will look into the system. We have a master system across all counties, and we can make sure you're in good standing. AKA, you filled out a permit, you have a permit with that county, and you're in good standing, you've paid all your fees. And if that's the case, pretty simple. We'll sign off on a letter of authorization, for you, and you just keep that on your truck. So if anyone comes knocking on your door, you can provide this and say, I am allowed to operate in Fulton County. Okay, so I'm just going to show you real quick our website so you can see. It's called DPH, Department of Public Health, and then Isabel.
Stop showing it.
I don't know.
Okay, so, all right, so, to make it simple, we were trying to show you on here on how it looks on the website. You can always just go, GADPH, food service, and it'll pop up. And specifically for mobile units, they have a frequently asked questions document. I have a few here. I do not have a lot. So if you want to look on yourself or get a copy, that's fine. This will give you the background of pretty much everything that we just talked about. And to answer some questions that we didn't get a chance to get to, okay? So again, I have 20 of these over here. So whenever you get a chance, you can make your way around here to get one or two or whatever. But again, you can always go to GADPH, go to Google, put in GADPH food service, and everything regarding food service will pop up, whether that's your standalone restaurant or mobile units. It'll give you the whole background, okay? That is all.
Thank you.
We'll be around for questions.
Good morning. I just wanted to take a minute to thank Rice for allowing us to have this here. I am a stakeholder here, and I joined here maybe 2 years ago, this year, 2 years ago. And we wanted to give them a minute to come and talk about this building. I know a lot of people say that this was their first time in this building. This is a beautiful building, and we just want to give one of the directors, Paul, to come and just introduce Rice to you all for a minute.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs. I am Paul Mayberry, Director of Community here. My partner Shakira is coming up as well. I'll let him introduce himself in a second. I'm a little scared to speak right now because I see people with badges around their neck up here. I kind of clam up in those moments, but who's first time here in the building? Have you guys never heard of us, or it's just your first time getting down here? Well, we're the largest center of its kind in the country dedicated to building and supporting small businesses. We're about 75,000 square feet. With the new construction and everything, we host nearly 600 entrepreneurs here that we call stakeholders. And we have an open window for enrollment about 2 times a year. I want to direct you guys to the russellcenter.org website where you can get a little bit more information about what we do. I'd love to stand up here and speak for an hour, but I only got about 2.5 minutes. I'll let Shakiri talk. The main thing I want to do, because you guys are food vendors and food trucks, we're going to be having a couple of activations coming up throughout the year here where I need food vendors and food trucks. If you guys have business cards that I could grab right now, pull those out. I'm going to run through the room and grab them. And then if you got digital cards, I'll be back at the end of the session to grab those.
Outstanding. You all, so I'm going to make this very quick. I'm just going to hit 2 points that Paul didn't say. Good morning. First off, my name is Shakiri Moraine. I'm the Senior Director of Innovation and Global Ambassador here at Rice. And you all, first of all, if you have not been to this building or if you don't know who Mr. Herman J. Russell is, y'all look him up. Because you're not just in a building with 4 walls. You're in a place that is Black history. And Mr. Russell started the company right here in 1952. and now it's one of the largest companies in the state of Georgia and also nationally. So please look up Mr. Herman J. Russell so you really know about the fabric of Atlanta. Secondly, I would say if you all are interested in becoming stakeholders, interested in coming out and supporting, this is a community-based space. We're a nonprofit and we help these companies grow and scale. And I see two of our entrepreneurs here, Latrice and Xavier, if you all will raise your hands. Outstanding. Y'all ask them about the programs because all the programs are not just here. We also have a number of global programs. Patrice and Xavier are going down to Colombia in April to find production partners for their food truck. Now, we're not selling into Colombia, but if you're trying to find partners to help you do things, to do operations better, to do your back end better, we absolutely have programs for those. And then at the end of this month, I'm going to Ghana to begin with connecting to some of the entrepreneurs throughout the diaspora to figure out how we can grow and expand our companies. So y'all come to Rice, get involved, but understanding getting involved means giving of yourself and then coming back and receiving some. So peace, y'all. Good to see you.
Now, let me just say this real quick. I'm gonna turn over the microphone. Y'all, this is amazing, man. I do this a lot in a lot of rooms, and I might walk out with like 5 or 6 cards. You guys are prepared, and I love that. So I hope to speak to a lot of you soon.
All right. Let's move right along. We got Captain Mahoney. She's gonna come up here and talk about fire and fire safety.
Morning. I'm here with City of Atlanta Fire Inspections Division. I'm Supervisor Mahoney, and this is Lieutenant Jackson. So if I'm not available, then Lieutenant Jackson will step in. I would be the contact person at fire inspection. Also, when you are coming to City of Atlanta, we're only City of Atlanta only, not Fulton County, only City of Atlanta limits. So I get a lot of calls and they're calling concerning Fulton County. Again, we're only City of Atlanta limits. And so where we're conducting food truck inspections, we're located by the Lakewood Amphitheater parking lot. So I have them to come down there, either mobile trucks or trailers only. They will come down there and we will conduct food truck inspections. I have applications in the bag. It also has the checklist listed on the application. If you have any type of questions, you can contact me via email or telephone. My telephone number, I don't have any cards in the bag, but my telephone number is 404-546-6963. Also, the decals that we have, once I have an inspector to go and inspect your trucks or trailers, it's for 1 year. And it's also color coded. So again, it's $75 for us for City of Atlanta limits. And we started charging as of 2024. Prior to that, they were free until I started receiving a lot of food trucks in City of Atlanta limits. Again, the applications are located in the back and it has the checklist at the bottom. Also, if you would like to go on our website, you can go to atlantafirerescue.com and you can fill out the 1-page application. It will get over to me, to my mailbox, and then I will respond back via email and send you a second application, which is the application located in the back. So before you come out, again, the checklist is listed on the application and it states what you're needing on your trailer or truck. And again, if you have any more questions, you can contact me telephone or email. All right.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Richard Tolbert from Invest Atlanta. Because y'all want to talk about money, right? No? They didn't want to talk about money? All right, Richard, no mind. We don't need you more, Richard. Okay. All right. See if I can put my presentation on. See if this works. Okay, sorry, it didn't work. All right, so what we'll do is just kind of talk about it here. So my name is Richard Tolbert. I'm with Invest Atlanta Small Business Team. I'm the loan underwriter. I've been here for about 3.5 years. Pretty much, so Invest Atlanta has two offices. We have our main office over at Georgia Pacific, but then also we have an office here at the Russell Center on the second floor, kind of closer to the Wells Fargo lab. So I actually do in-person consultations, kind of walk you through our different programs. Our loan programs range from 5,000 to about 150,000. Our most popular one is our Atlanta Recovery Loan Program. And the main reason why is because it can be used for many uses: equipment, furniture, fixtures, signage, renovations, those type of things. But also too, we did release a new program about 3 weeks ago, which is our Atlanta Business Readiness Loan Fund. And now that one is to kind of help you get ready for large events like the World Cup. Kelsey also mentioned like different concerts like Lady Gaga and pretty much any other artist you can kind of think of. But this program was designed to help with large events. And we added actually a new section with this category, which is customer experience. So if you can kind of coordinate your efforts to, helping with the customer experience, then you can technically kind of qualify for the program.
Versus in these programs allow them to buy food truck using our funds?
So that is the main piece I should mention is one thing Invest Atlanta does not allow is purchase of vehicles. So I would not be able to help you purchase your food truck, but I can help with putting different equipment pieces on there. I can help with marketing. So if you wanted to wrap your food truck, I can help with that. If you was kind of moving into a commercial space, I can help with that. So I do a lot of those as well. Kind of helping with getting you ready for your grand opening. And that can, like I said before, different renovations that maybe need to be done, equipment, marketing, furniture, fixture, signage, pretty much whatever you can kind of think of in that aspect. We usually can work with. We are designed, so we're not an official bank. We are city government. We are the economic development agency for the city of Atlanta. So our policies are a little bit more lenient than a national bank. So we don't necessarily have a minimum credit score requirement. We do look for like a 620 or above. Anything less than that, we can kind of accept the narrative to kind of help explain your situation. And pretty much for us, it's just kind of submitting the application, and then paying the $100 application fee, and then we would take it over to our committee members once we write up the report to try to get you approved, and then after you've been approved, due diligence, working with finance to kind of get you paid out. But overall, Invest Atlanta has a host of different programs. We also have one if you're looking into purchasing commercial property within the city of Atlanta. And this program actually goes up to $250K, or 50% of the commercial cost and renovations. And the unique thing about this program, what really makes it a game changer for us, is the fact that we amortize the loan over 25 years. So payments as if you're paying on a 25-year note, but with just 10 years of on-time payments, then you can ask Invest Atlanta to convert the balance to a grant.
Say that one more time differently. I don't think it was.
When you said grant, I woke up. I'm sorry. You said grant. So that's actually a savings of over 100K when you look at the project. But ideally, up to 250K if the project is 500K in total or more. If it's less than 500K, then we can only do 50%. But like I said before, with that, we amortize our piece over 25 years. And with just 10 years of on-time payments, you can ask for that rest of that 15 years to be converted to a grant. So it's more like a thank you from the city of Atlanta, Invest Atlanta, for choosing to purchase within a disinvested area around the city. So that's one thing about Invest Atlanta as well. We can only work with City of Atlanta businesses. So you have to have the City of Atlanta business license. And if you're, say if you're kind of food truck and you're kind of mobile, your culinary kitchen, they kind of mentioned it before, where you kind of prep at, that can kind of also qualify you as well with Invest Atlanta if that is located within city limits. So one thing we do look for is kind of like a multi-year lease agreement, or a 1 year lease that's kind of been signed, a few times. But overall, we do have programs available. Money is here. And I also have some flyers as well that I can share with you guys, as well as contact information if you want to schedule a consultation with me. And I'm usually going to be here Tuesdays and Thursdays. But that's pretty much it for me.
Wonderful, wonderful. If they got any more questions about active capital, second in. I also work in Invest Atlanta. I can help you all with some answers, me and Richard together. Next though, see the funny thing is he mentioned prep. How many of y'all heard of prep? Not preparation, but prep the organization. Wonderful. So we have Crystal from the Food Truck Association of Georgia and Tommy from Prep here to talk about some next steps.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Crystal Wilson. I am the owner of Flavor Order Pork Chicken Waffles Food Trailer. I am currently a board member on FTAG. How many FTAG members are in the building? Raise your hand if you have a food truck or FTAG. Take a look around the room. Woo! Take a look around the room.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I'm going to come. You may say, well, what is FTAG? FTAG stands for Food Truck Association of Georgia. We are a mobile food unit support organization for food truckers. The food truckers consist of trailers, trucks, carts, as well as dessert trucks. We're founded by food truck owners for food truck owners, with our mission being to grow the food truck industry so that our food truckers have a supportive, thriving environment to work from. And you say, well, what do you do? Glad you asked. We work for the benefit of the food truckers. Some of you who may have been in business 4 to 5 years ago, you may remember in every county you had to be permitted in order to work. You couldn't work in any county with vending or catering without a permit from that county. Well, FTAG put forth the legislation, House Bill 1443, so that now it regulates food truckers only have to be permitted in one county, which is your base of operation, saving food truckers upwards $7,000 a year. Currently, we're working on legislation for fire inspections, because our fire inspections kind of work the same way, not as much, but they kind of work the same way, so we're working on that legislation as well. We offer mentoring, training, education, some booking opportunities. We also offer networking. We do networking events. And newly added, we have our affiliate sponsor program where we put industry cohorts in front of our food truck members so that they have easier access to work within the industry. So you may say, well, you guys got a lot going on, you're doing a lot, how do I get involved? How do I become a member? I'm glad you asked. We have flyers in the back if you're looking for a food truck family, if you're looking for a movement that is bigger than what you're doing right now and you want to become a part, please join FTAG. We have flyers in the back. Also, we have, if you don't have a food truck, but you're still interested, you can also still become a member. We are offering membership to not only food truck operators, but those who are also interested in the industry. As well, we have a masterclass coming up on the 31st. If you don't have a food truck or a mobile food unit as of yet, but you're looking towards bringing that dream to fruition, we have a masterclass available for you that takes you step by step along the way so that you can put your dream to work. If you have any questions, we all have this little logo on. You're welcome to ask us any question after the presentations are over. Thank you so much. Don't forget Food Truck Association of Georgia, also known as FTAG.
Hey, y'all. My name is Tommy, and I am the community manager at PrEP. If you haven't heard of us, we are the largest food truck commissary provider in all of the South. We have 5 buildings in Atlanta. The one that's going to matter for y'all, though, in this meeting is one in South Atlanta, right in the Southern Hills area. It is in the city of Atlanta, so all the great things these folks are talking about will be open to y'all. Usually I come up here and talk about some of the requirements for the base operations. The Fulton County folks did great on that. Not going to repeat them, but something I do want to stress when y'all go out and look for it. One is a parking space. For as much as you can kind of go wherever you want now, you do absolutely need a parking space at your commissary. If they don't give you one, do not sign the membership, lease, whatever it is. Which kind of leads to, there's a lot of things you look at in commissaries, prep kitchens, whatever you want to call them. One of it's going to be big location, not in terms of like where you feel safe or where you want to keep your product. It is such a big investment. But part of it too is that do you want to spend 4 hours driving from your home to your commissary back at night? Because you do have to bring your truck back, your trailer, whatever it is, every single day. So there's a lot of things to think about outside of just purely the curbing standpoint. Another big thing too is like you have food truck here, which is a great community. You want to walk into a space, a commissary kitchen, a prep kitchen, whatever it is, that you feel that you can be a part of the community. The FTAG folks are wonderful. They are owners themselves. They can teach you a lot, but you're going to learn so much from just the folks around you day to day. So having that feeling is going to be so incredibly important. And then it's also kind of like small things you want to look for too when it comes to commissaries, whether it be kind of like buying assistance, where they have like a deal with like a mainliner like PFG or Cisco and all that sort of stuff. Talk to them, see what they can offer you, see what kind of helps save you time and money during the day. And then question always kind of comes up with the price. Our prices usually run about ballpark $1,500 a month. That's going to be a price you're going to see kind of across the board nowadays as they're popping up. There's going to be small things here and there. So it's like good to build that in when you're thinking about how many jobs you need to do every month and all that sort of stuff. And I'll be around here too if you have questions to keep it short for y'all. And I have our sales manager's information if you're interested in one of our stores. You can come meet me after the meeting and we'll get you that stuff.
Thank you, Tom. You were talking so fast, but I don't think y'all really understand it. Anybody here that's currently at PrEP, one of the 2 locations they have 2 locations. One in the city, one outside. In the city of Atlanta? One in the city, one right outside Atlanta.
5 all Atlanta, but.
Check me, they said 5. Excuse me. But I got introduced to them several years ago, and I don't do food.
You had a strong for telling me in mind. How you better.
Is that auto tune? That. But what I'm gonna stand up. I want to talk about this while I bring Courtney up here. Round of applause too. The Food Truck Association of Georgia and PrEP are 2 spaces. He said a key word I was gonna bring up later on. He said community. What I've seen is working in Invest Atlanta, working in Access to Capital, working in the city of Atlanta, is that when businesses lack that community, they suffer. And then they come to me and say, y'all ain't do nothing for my business. Y'all let me fail. And I'm like, no, I introduced you to community. You didn't want to go over there. I'm not saying you got to spend all this money, but I'm giving you resources to say, hey, if you get plugged in with those people, if you're not even ready for the financial commitment, at least meet the people so you can get involved in that. If you lack those things, it's very difficult to hear about opportunities. I can't call you every day and say, this new thing came up. That's your group. This is your group here. Everybody in this room, y'all should get to know each other. If somebody making money, somebody say, hey, look, over here is where they've been. We're gonna put something together ourselves. I'm looking at, man, I remember when y'all came and talked to me. I ain't do nothing for you personally, but I definitely bring your name up. LOL too, and so you get into rooms, you get into spaces where you can make that community happen. It happens at PrEP, it happens with the Food Truck Association of Georgia. But now I'm gonna bring you up to something else. Have y'all heard of the Nightlife Committee, the City of Atlanta Mayor's Office of Nightlife Committee? Have you heard of Nightlife? No? See, that's why I'm here. I'm bringing Courtney up here. Maybe you coming too? Yes. Your name's on the agenda. Well, maybe we'll see if we can. I'm gonna bring Courtney up here to talk about the Nightlife Committee, what they do, why they're there, and they have some upcoming things that I want you guys to know about. Cool. Wonderful.
Hi, guys. First of all, I want to say it's beautiful to see this turnout. Your participation in things like this creates opportunity for more of these things to happen, events and such. I'm Courtney Foster. I'm
part of the Nightlife Advisory Council. We work under the Mayor's Office of Film, Entertainment, and Nightlife, and we consult on legislation, make suggestions for upcoming events and planning, and how operators are best prepared for things like FIFA and any legislation that impacts nightlife, hospitality, food service, alcohol service, those things. We go through those piece by piece and give recommendations back to City Council and to the mayor himself. Quarterly, we do a training day where we focus on public safety. We have done overdose reversal trainings, CPR trainings, fire safety, permitting, a variety of things. But our next one is coming up soon. We have it April 6th. So if you'll follow either the mayor's Instagram or the Atlanta Film, Nightlife and Entertainment Instagram, you'll be able to see those updates as they come up, and you can get registered. It's free. It's during the daytime. But those are some really powerful, useful resources to come out and be a part of, so that you learn skills that you may not have for free. I will be around also at the end for questions, so if you guys have them, come see me. Thank you.
Whoa,
Kelsey said I'm not gonna have this, but
too fast. Saying stuff too fast. April 6th is
April
the day.
6th, training day.
Do we have a location?
We don't have a training, we don't have a location.
Time.
I'm not saying that.
Heard, got it. Follow the Instagram. Got you. Bye.
Yeah.
All right. We have the belt line on, don't we? Guidance in the belt line. Sessions on the Zoom. The Zoom room. The Zoom rooms. We got Zoom rooms. We got Zooms. How fill out there. Is this information helpful? You can be honest. If it's not, I got some more information. But I'm gonna say that for after. Got a couple more things, and I'm coming back up here to talk to you all. Say some real stuff. But I want to make sure that, again, what we're trying to do here is build a community. Part of readiness, make sure that we are. I'm sorry. Make sure that we are ready, and part of readiness is make sure that we know the tools, the places, the things, the people. And so you've seen people pop up here and say, hey, when you do this, it comes to me. It don't go to the cloud. You hear the people who it goes to directly, so you can not hold them accountable, but make sure that you know the faces. Some people say, I'm gonna hold you accountable. That's cool, that's nice. We're gonna be nice in this room. We wanna make sure we're doing things with love. So, you know, all these people gotta do something for the fire department. You know who it goes to, those two people. Now you got their face. Contact them. We'll make sure the emails are there. So that's the thing we're doing. Today is called Access. Hey, Georgia State pen. I need a nice Georgia State pen.
I'm grabbing, by the way.
Yep. Richard. He dipped out here too, didn't he? Anybody seen Richard? All right. Well, listen. Have you heard of the Atlanta Beltline? I think I said, I need to be over there. I need to figure out how to get my stuff at the Beltline. Who said that? Yes. All right. I want you to know how you get access to the Beltline. Well, I'm gonna tell you some tools the Beltline has, some things they do, so how you can be in the know on the next opportunities for the Beltline. I'm not gonna say this person will say yes or no. I'm saying this is how you get it too. All right. Talking today about what? Access.
Thank you, Kelsey. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. How's everyone doing? Great. So I'm Natalie Jones, and I oversee the Beltline's Business Solutions Office, and we focus on providing tailored services to businesses that are scaling. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that we're doing in general, and then also some of the things that we're doing leading up to the World Cup, and some of the opportunities that small businesses will have to participate. So if you've ever heard me speak before, you've been to a Beltline event, you may have heard of our small business accelerator called Beltline Business Ventures. We actually have a few stakeholders at Rice that have gone through that program, and I see some of you all are here today, so thank you so much for your support. But our small business accelerator is called Beltline Business Ventures, and the core purpose of that program is to make sure that small business owners are prepared to operate brick and mortar locations. So we go over things like operational excellence. We go over the ins and outs of commercial leasing. We go over all of your financial stuff and teach you how to read a P&L. And we just do a lot of different things that small business owners may not know because they are busy actually running their businesses. So we allow time to be taken out of your day to just kind of go over those different things. And so we just closed our application period for the upcoming Beltline Business Ventures cohort, which will start on March 17th. And we will specifically get into the nitty gritty of how to prepare for the influx of visitors that are coming to the, coming to Atlanta for World Cup. We also have a program called Beltline Business Ventures Artist Edition, and that's where we're working directly with artists, entrepreneurs, and it's the same concept of our industry agnostic Beltline Business Ventures, but it's geared towards more creatives. So that is a program that we're focused on providing artists the opportunity to learn how to submit for large scale 3D projects within the public realm. We do a business breakfast, and so our business breakfast will be focused on the different opportunities that will arise from the Beltline for World Cup. That's on March 19th, and that's going to be at Pittsburgh Yards at 8 o'clock. We will have Amici Bertrand, who runs our Beltline Marketplace Indie Experience. He will be there along with Kelvin Collins, the VP of Economic Development at Atlanta Beltline, and then we'll also have a Visa representative as well. And so we're actually working with Visa, who is one of the actual title sponsors of the World Cup. So we're going to be developing a webinar series, and we're not exactly sure what that will look like, but more to come on that. But at our March breakfast, we will actually be able to launch, we will be launching an application for our Beltline Fest activation for small businesses. So if you don't know what Beltline Fest is, it's a large event that we're having on our 14-acre site that is right adjacent to Pittsburgh Yards. And we have a large scale event vendor coming on to navigate what that looks like. But what we're thinking is that we'll be able to have pop-up opportunities for small businesses. So if you come to the breakfast, you'll get more information on what that application looks like and what that application process looks like. And then we will also be activating our Beltline Marketplace containers as well. So we have 4 different areas around the Beltline where we have 12 different container spaces that small businesses operate out of, and we will be allowing pop-up opportunities there while World Cup is here. Again, we don't have a lot of the dates set just yet. We're still working on that, but hopefully by the March 19th event, we will have a little bit more information to share with you there. We're also going to be doing a lot of work with a local company trying to figure out what is the actual impact of small businesses. So we'll be doing a pre and post survey with all of the businesses that will participate in our programming, and we'll be able to gain insights from them on how to prepare for the additional events that are coming to Atlanta outside of World Cup. I do want to mention that there's a lot of commentary amongst the small business community regarding a lot of the efforts that are happening around being prepared for World Cup, and a lot of questions are coming up like, well, what's going to happen beyond World Cup? And so I did want to just reiterate and underscore that a lot of the programming that we have at the Beltline, we've been running for a few years, not because the World Cup is coming up, but because we really do care about making sure that small businesses are prepared for the everyday and then also for those large scale events. So when the World Cup leaves, we will still be here providing that on the ground support for small business owners. We have a pitch competition coming up on April 2nd. That's going to be at Plywood Place, and that's going to be hosted by Rose Scott of WABE. And we will be awarding 3 of our Beltline Business Ventures alumni a total of $150,000 in grant funding to help them grow. So a lot of people ask, well, how can I get money from the Beltline? Well, we don't have programs like Invest Atlanta where we do loans and different grants and things like that, but we have created an opportunity for us to fund small businesses directly through our pitch competition efforts. And so in order to qualify for that funding, you need to actually go through our accelerator, and then you need to apply and submit a pitch deck, and then you're chosen to actually pitch in front of a live audience and a judge panel as well. We have some alumni programming that we're doing. Again, if you've participated in any of our programming, you have access to that network. And then we will also be working with our commercial districts. So within the Beltline planning area, we have about 19 different organizations within the corridor. And we're working directly with them to try to figure out how do we help build the capacity of our local business associations. So whether they are doing any sort of activations in their community and they want to invite small businesses to participate, we'll be working with them to help them build their capacity. So there's more to come there. And then I believe that is it for me. If you have any questions, I'm here. You can also email business@atlbeltline.org, and someone from our team will reach out to you and answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Beltline, everybody. Thanks so much. Her name is Natalie Jones.
Natalie Jones.
Access, right? My pleasure. Thank you. I called her and was like, hey, I need you on Monday. She's like, oh, I got you. I got you. I said, I got you. I got y'all. So, bring up now, who's ever had something, they're applying for a city land business license, anything like that. And they're like, you need to go to the Department of Planning and ask that question. And I was like, man. I'm telling you, I was in court this morning, and every time I got to a window, I said, ma'am, all right, this is my situation. They told me to come talk to you. Say, you go over there. Gotta go to planning. Now, you don't have to go to planning right now. I brought planning to you. So we're gonna talk to them. They're gonna show their stuff. Not the hot seat, I promise. Not the hot seat. We're gonna show you some information. They're gonna talk about the vending programs. And then during Q&A, we can ask a couple questions. This is not the hot seat. Y'all been frustrated because the planning did whatever they did for you and they didn't do. It's not the time to do it. All right? Paige and Jocelyn, come on up here.
Good morning, thanks guys. I'm Paige Ashley again. This is Jocelyn Pasio. We are here on behalf of the Department of City Planning. We manage the public vending programs within the department, but this is a program that is mandated by council and legislated within our code, City of Atlanta code. So I'll start by explaining the difference between public vending and private vending, because that seems to be a frustration among many of us and maybe did a little confusion. So public vending is all of the public vending that happens in the public right of way. So that includes cities, streets, sidewalks. If someone is vending and they do not hold a permit within the city, a public vending permit within the city of Atlanta, then they're technically out of compliance. Now private vending, that happens on any private property, and that's an entirely different legislation and implementation process. But we, City of Atlanta Public Vending Program, we have pretty much a handful of publicly designated locations that if you receive a permit, you can operate out of one of these locations.
Paige, I need to say that one more time slow.
Yeah.
There are two different types of vending, right? There's only two. It's either you're on public property or you're on private property.
Right.
And both of them need a vendor's permit.
Yes. So if you want to operate on private property, you will need to obtain a private property vending permit. If you want to operate on public vending, public right of way, you need a public vending permit. Yeah, so I'll talk about our program. The first step to getting licensed and permitted with the City of Atlanta within the public vending permit is to obtain your occupational tax certificate, formerly known as your business license. And so you would do that process, and then you would apply for a public vending permit. This public vending permit is valid for a year. And after a year, around February 28th of each year, that's when the permit would expire and you would apply for a new one. Now, how do we use the permit? So that's different for each program. So first program is the CART program. The CART program is ran on a lottery basis. So you would enter the lottery, you would register for the lottery, you would be assigned a random number, and you can imagine putting, the ball thing, we pick a number, and that's how you were awarded a location. Then you would get your permit, and then you would be awarded that specific location for the entire year. That's the CART program. Food truck program, you can apply for a permit, and all you have to do is apply. You don't have to enter a lottery. We have a handful of locations, and it operates on a reservation model. So you can have the permit and you have access to our reservation system where you can book the location on a first come, first served basis, about 2 to 3 weeks out at a time. Now, we're trying to get our cart program on a similar model as the food truck program, so that we have like all of these locations and nobody is tied to one specific location for an entire year, but people would be able to reserve that location if it's available. Again, these are legislative programs, these are council mandated programs, and so we can't just add locations when we want and how we want. We have to go through the process of first getting council permission to add or remove locations, and then we have to go through the implementation process, which is an interdepartmental process. We have to coordinate with Department of Transportation, Department of Zoning, Office of Zoning, and all of these pieces to make sure that we can legally make it available through council. We physically make it available through implementation. So currently, these are our 6 locations. These locations were added when the program moved from a similar lottery model to a reservation model back in 2021. This outdates Jocelyn and I. And for the past few years, we have been doing our research to we've worked a great deal with Food Truck Association of Georgia to locate some additional locations, some that fall within the World Cup stay zone. So this is where we will pivot. Now, the CART program right now, remember, is under a lottery model, location specific model. The city of Atlanta is not going to approve any we're not going to have the lottery for locations essentially that fall within the safe zone. So that is why we're trying to move the program over to a reservation model. But if we are able to do that before the World Cup, none of those CART locations will be within the safe zone, or at least they won't be activated until the safe zone. But we're going to try to get some locations added to parks and other, already activated areas of the city of Atlanta. And so what we have mapped here is our food truck locations. And again, you can see that 2 out of the 6 fall within the safe zone. And so if you hold a public vending permit, you have the right to have access to these 2 locations, even though they fall within the safe zone and while the FIFA is taking place. And then we talked a little bit about the legislation, what's allowed in these locations versus what's not allowed in these locations, an operating area, what we use to kind of help find these locations. All of these could be found in the City of Atlanta Code if you type in public vending, public right-of-way vending.
And these slides will be available to all of you.
So I think we covered most of everything. The one other thing that I will talk about is our kiosk program. It's not included in this slide deck because it operates under a completely different model. It does not require a permit. It requires you to have a license agreement with the City of Atlanta, which is similar to a lease agreement. And so we hold applications for that, and it's the scoring kind of group process you have access to the scoring criteria you would apply, and then we have a board that will help us select who would be there. We also will try to have those. We will have 2 available before the World Cup, and our goal is to make those kiosks, the applications available before the World Cup. Again, we have to go to legislation to allow us to make it available to you. So that's what we're working on. I promise we're busy. But feel free to contact us at any time, and you just ask for Paige and Jocelyn.
And I'll just add that with the new locations that we're trying to add, that there is a criteria that we need, and we've been working closely with FTAG to be able to do that. But we can also send out that criteria so you all can give us suggestions, because you guys have the boots on the ground. You know the locations that are very lucrative, so we're very open to that, but it does have to go through a specific criteria in order to be approved. And then lastly, I'll just say, we do host
the programs, although Office of Revenue actually does the permitting, APD helps with background checks, fingerprinting, and also with the private vending. So we can help you, but we also might be sending off to other places. So we appreciate you, like, with your patience with everything, as we're all just getting organized.
Ooh, before y'all leave, I got a question. I know it's not Q&A time, but I got a question.
Yeah.
I need a scenario played out for me, right? I got a phone call from somebody. It's not me, I'm just saying. I got a phone call from somebody saying, hey, I have a permit at this park in the city of Atlanta, right? I want some food trucks come, so I'm trying to get some people out there. I want some food trucks. So I called FTAG, and FTAG's like, oh, we got food trucks for you. So 3 food trucks pull up to this particular park because this person has a permit for the park. Does the 3 food trucks also need to have one of these public permits?
So if this person, he says he has a permit for a park, he's referring to a special use permit or a festival permit, or these different one event type permits that they have received. And no, so they would not, if you have that permit, then the holder of that permit is in charge of organizing that event, and they can procure their own food trucks. And they would not need a public.
And so the food trucks would not need to have their own public vending because they'd be going through special use permit that that person has.
Correct.
Wonderful. Jocelyn, Paige, thank y'all so much. Y'all done?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Give it a round of applause. It was supposed to be on it. You said Amy's not here? Amy? Is Amy here? From compliance, contract compliance? Wonderful. What time is it? No, I got 5 minutes. Cool. Wonderful. See, I asked that question for a reason. Because I know y'all sitting here like, yo, this is cool. Some of the information I already know, but where are the opportunities at? That's what I came here for. Nod your head if I'm telling the truth. Like, this is cool. A lot of information. Where's the opportunities at? Cool. Wonderful. I had to ask that question before I came up here and started telling y'all lies. I need clarity. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna get clarity first, and I'm gonna speak. You know this. I'm gonna get clarity, and then I'm gonna speak because I'm talking about access. So, Showcase Atlanta was created to organize, not streamline, but kind of get the information together so that we knew what we were talking about, where we're doing things, what we wanted to do, so that we can make sure that our small businesses had access to the tools needed to be successful during large-scale events, right? Right? In doing so, we have a couple things on our website. Has anybody ever been to showcaseatlanta.com? Who's been to the website? Not enough. Cool. Few of y'all, I need all y'all to be acquainted with showcaseatlanta.com. There's a bunch of reasons. I'm gonna start listing off one. That website is up here right now. I'm pointing out one thing first. There's a vendor directory. Now, has anybody heard of the Atlanta Visitors and Convention Bureau? Show hands. I know, we're getting a workout. Just get your hands, get ready to lift your hands up. The Atlanta Visitors Convention Bureau, called the ACVB, has a list. So this vendor list is what happens. So when you go out of town, you know I'm talking to you. When you go out of town, you don't go to the Convention Bureau for Boston when you travel to Boston, New York, or Chicago, Miami. Anywhere you go, you don't go to the Convention Bureau and say, hey, what's the things? Where should I be going? What should I do? Who should I call about this? We don't do that. We go to Yelp, we go to Google, we go to Instagram, TikTok, one of them things. Call your cousin. That's not how they work when we talk about large scale events. That's not how they work when we talk about World Cup or anybody really. Conventions coming down, they're not calling them Yelp or their cousin. They're going to the Convention Bureau. They're gonna say, hey, give me a list of the vendors that do this. I got a special group coming in, and they do, and I need this. I need food trucks, I need food vendors, I need this to come fill out this convention center because we want to have tables and stations around for people to come eat for lunch. I want to have 10 vendors. They don't go to their cousin. They don't go to Yelp. They go to the Convention Bureau. And they go and say, hey, send me your vendors for your balloons, for your AV, for your this and your food, right? And so knowing that, Showcase Atlanta has partnered with the ACVB. And so on our vendor directory plugs into it. Why? Because the ACVB is a pay to play. You're not a part of their membership, you don't get access, right? My name is on that list because I paid for it to be on that list. But we're like, hey, well, we need to do something a little different. So Showcase Atlanta partnered with the ACVB. So if you use our list, go into the listserv, fill out the information, you will be included on the list that Showcase Atlanta, the ACVB, and others use when they're doing large scale events. All right? Your name's not on the list. you get missed. I'm not saying that this is gonna guarantee you a contract. I'm saying that if you're not on the list, I guarantee you won't get one. Not through this way, right? But not just that. We use this list because when we get aware of contracts, opportunities, we send it through this listserv as well. And so I think this morning, we sent out 5. There were 5 RFPs that we've seen available. 5 has been a number today, 5. Today, we've got 5 locations. We got 5 RFPs that we're aware of that we sent out through this vendor directory, so people are aware. It may not directly apply to you. I said, but at least you know information is flowing, right? So when you go to showcaseatlanta.com, you should be on the vendor directory. If some of y'all have a restaurant location or a space that you use as a venue, there's a venue directory also. So I would encourage you to make sure that your name are on these lists, because this is how they disseminate their information, right? Who knew that already? Anybody knew that? Y'all knew that? People say they knew it, but are you on the list? Right. Number 2, if you go to showcaseatlanta.com, there's a tab that talks about pop-ups, right? And pop-ups, there's a list that we're using at Showcase Atlanta that we are picking business off this list when we need to do events as well, right? So I asked that question, hey, what if I had a permit somewhere and I want to do an event, or I want to do a watch party, or I want to do some type of community gathering, and we need to get pop-up vendors. We're not talking about candles, we're talking about prepared food. Where's the guy who used to do the packaged peanuts and almonds and stuff? I'm talking vendors, right? This pop-up list here is what we communicate the opportunities that will come up as far as pop-ups. Everybody doesn't say, hey, everybody in this room doesn't have a food truck. Some say, hey, I set my table and sell my things this way. We need those as well. And so this is the list that we use to communicate opportunities. So the opportunity we send out and say, hey, we're looking for 10 businesses to do X, Y, Z. I'll respond. I might say, hey, I got a vendor opportunity. I got 50 businesses I need to do X, Y, Z. This is where I'm going to be using to communicate, right? So I'm telling you this because if you go to Showcase Atlanta, vendor directory, the venues directory, pop-up directory, and this is the information that we're using. I can't just call my cousin. That's not legal. Not for me. Not in this government thing. And you find out that I called you directly and didn't let everybody know the opportunity, they're going to have my head. So this is the way that we can be equitable. You got questions? Cool. It's almost Q&A time. Hold on to it. So going to showcaseatlanta.com for the vendor directory, the venue directory, the pop-ups, these are the lists that I would encourage you to be on, because this is the information that we're using. This is how we're gathering information, how we're communicating. I'm not just collecting your emails and names and stuff for fun. I'm doing it because this is how we communicate and send our information. Lamar also just told me to remind you all that you're not also on ATL suppliers or the Georgia suppliers list. This is where we're also communicating. And so when we hear stuff, we send it out. But again, I told you, after in August, you come looking for me, I'm the wrong person to look for, right? Not because I'm not going to be here, but because the information was given to you or where the stuff comes from. So if you start trying to hunt me down after this meeting, or in August trying to find out what's going on with the Food Truck Association, what's going on with the Russell Center, what's going on with the contracts, what's going on with these things, what's going on in the Beltline, I done brought all those people up to you. You met them, know their face, know their name, know they work for it. These are the people. You got a question about vending in public versus private? Hayden Johnson, know the people, right? So don't go looking for me, it's not gonna help you. I brought you the people, it's called access. But with showcaseatlanta.com, these are things you want to look for, because this is where we're communicating. This is why you get included and get involved with what's going on. We are part of the community as well. So knowing us and being acquainted with us helps you, helps the city, helps all of us. All right? Am I missing anything? We have some workshops. Going on the list now, there's a website. There's some workshops. If you're not familiar with Access to Capital, there's a workshop we have. What's today, the 2nd? Tomorrow, the 3rd. There's a webinar we have tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. with Citizens Trust Bank. We're talking about the 3 C's of credit. It's actually 6, but the 5 C's, what she wants to talk about. 5 C's of credit. How do you get prepared for credit? What do they look for when they're pulling credit to get finance and things like that? Just want to walk you through the tools and what we have now with the VP over at Citizens Trust Bank. So we're talking about how to get access. Then y'all want to buy a franchise? Anybody thought about buying a franchise? Just making your own business a franchise? Anybody thought about doing that? These are things that this particular VP at Citizen Trust Bank helps people do. But in order to be able to do that, there's some things that we gotta get ready before we can start turning the franchise or buying franchise. So that's what she specializes in. So we have a conversation with her about that tomorrow. So you go to showcaseatlanta.com, you'll see our events as well, like you saw this one. And these things continue to go on for the next few months. We have Q&A time, don't we? Wonderful. Y'all got any questions? Y'all been holding on to it? Wonderful. There's two things I want you to do. The ones I'm gonna ask right now, I want you to go ahead and ask your question. I'm gonna point you out. We'll make sure you got a microphone. The second thing is there are some questions that you're gonna have that I'm not going to answer right now, but there are notes. There's some, y'all wanna just pass out those things? We have some note cards back there. And if you write your question down and your email address, we'll be sure to get that question answered via email so we can make sure that as many questions we can get answered. Q&A time. Question. Throw your hands up. What did you get to? 1, 2. All right. Start there. I'm coming to you now, y'all.
This is germane to the public and private permits. So I'm gonna give a scenario similar to what you gave before. So my OTC is with the city of South Fulton. My physical address is an Atlanta address. I am fully permitted with the Fulton County Board of Health. What again do I need to obtain a public permit for the city of Atlanta?
I'm receiving It's Adrian, right? It's Adrian. My bad. You asked your question page. You took that right there at the same time. Yeah, Q&A is out loud. So
It's a real simple question.
it's a real simple question. His question was, his business in the city of Atlanta. Your business in the city of Atlanta?
So my commercial kitchen is technically zip code in the city of Atlanta.
Oh, see, I covered this already. Doing that thing. Is it in the city of Atlanta, or is it in East Point, Atlanta, or Smyrna, Atlanta, or DeKalb, Atlanta? Okay.
Well, my address, 30336 Atlanta, but I pay my OTC to the city of South Fulton. I'm already permitted both my commercial kitchen and my food trailer in the city,
in Fulton County. What do I need to obtain a public vending permit? Do I need an Atlanta OTC now?
If you have an OTC, if they granted you an OTC, if the Office of Revenue, City of Atlanta Office of Revenue granted you an OTC, right? This is where you go. City of South, okay, so you would need to, get a City of Atlanta OTC, and then that would make you eligible for it.
Before we,
Business, your place of business has to be in Atlanta.
okay, before we take that person, is someone here from Just Eat It? The food truck? Okay, did you want, I know everyone's getting ready to leave. We do have a food truck. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We have a food truck downstairs. So if you want, after we leave, if you have lunch, we did want to announce that one of our members was here that has a food truck outside. So please stop and support one of our food trucks. Did you want to say anything? If not, we'll go on Q&A.
These butterflies, real. Hey, everybody. This year makes my 6th year. It is really, really hard for us. And it's hard to even say that out loud. So, if y'all have any questions or need any help, we are open book to help you guys even get started. Too. I'm about to be over here in this corner asking them all kind of questions too. But on my truck, I have, me and my husband is out there, and we also got our son out there too. We got chicken wings, burger milks, rice bowls, but we are open to just help y'all too, not just for us too, but to help y'all too. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, who's next with Q&A?
Hi, I have 2 questions. First question is, what is the length of the process of getting added to the directory? Because our company applied last summer, still not on it.
Is that Showcase Atlanta?
Yes, yes.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Oh, great. If it is, it should have already been through if it was last summer. We actually did some updates to the system. We have ways now. I know people before were looking for ways to update their profile, so we've updated that too. So just grab me, I'll write your stuff down and make sure you do it. Okay?
Awesome, thank
No
you.
problem, madam.
And then the second question is to the Department of Health. I don't know if they're still here. Oh, okay.
No, they
Well, then,
left.
never mind.
They had a
Thank you.
meeting.
So how do you actually get the application to be vendor at the World Cup?
Be a vendor at the World Cup?
Yeah.
Cool. So it goes a couple of ways. That's a very loaded question because it depends on the entity who is running it. So the reason why we were telling everybody to sign up with the Georgia procurement site is because the Georgia World Congress Center is the one that's running all of the FIFA Fan Fest. So you would go through their hiring protocols. So that's why when we sent out about the 5 RFPs, all that stuff is going through the states. Things that you said that, hey, I'm now looking for inside the stadium, that stuff goes through the stadium. So what we've been trying to educate is that different from other cities, this city works really well on a group project. So people own their individual areas. So in terms of, hey, we wanted the vending that will take place at the Centennial Park, that'll all be through the Georgia World Congress Center, sign up for their procurement site. They are in the pre-planning phase, but they're moving super fast. I think for those who knew, we just found out who the teams were, the times they were playing. People just signed out on the site plan, so all this stuff is happening, so it's moving like this. So it's not something that was a year earlier. So when you say FIFA, it always depends on where we're looking at in terms of it. The other thing I suggest is open your mind outside of just FIFA. So you hear a lot of people who are planning to have watch parties or community engagements or looking for vending. Open it up to learn all of that. We're going to be sending out that information so that way you don't have to look at it for, hey, I'm just looking for this one game. There's going to be stuff that's going to be happening during that time period that for a lot of these folks can drive. So I know Smyrna's wanting to have something. I know Alpharetta's planning to have something. So there is going to be around the state entities looking for vendors. So I would say open up outside of that. But for the specific question that's like FIFA related, that will be the first place I would say to kind of sign up. Did I answer your question?
Oh, yes, it is.
Okay, no problem.
This is just for FTAG. For the membership, it's $250. Is that a one-time membership or is that year?
For the year.
Okay.
Do we have any FTAG members here? Can you just raise your hand so that people can see how our members support? Thank you all so much. Any questions on you?
I got a couple of questions. I was in Orlando, Florida. They got a food truck park there, and they don't have to move their trucks or nothing like that. And they do their gray water and all that stuff there. Why is there not one here in Atlanta like that? And we pay a lot of money for, doing events and permits and all that. That's a lot for a food truck.
We have some of our veterans here who may can speak to that. Introduce yourself. Dexter. Say the question one more time so Dexter can come up.
What was the question for you one more time? I apologize.
Why we don't have like a food truck park here in Atlanta like they do in Orlando? It's like maybe see like Florida, New York, and California. They don't need no kitchens or nothing, but they don't even move out their food truck park. They come around and collect the water, the grease, and all that.
So I'm familiar with the Orlando food truck parks. There's two out there. World Food Trucks, and there's another one that they just built. There are a few food trucks parks that they've had actually around, not necessarily in the city, but in different counties. I just haven't, seen anything built yet in the city of Atlanta or Fulton County or anything in a major city. It's not something that can't be done. I think it's something that will work out great eventually. I know there are great locations like South Downtown who are developing downtown Atlanta. They're starting off with the Smorgasbord Festival weekly, and they're running it through the year. But it's a great idea. If someone has the money and the funding and wants to put it together, we're all with you.
Hello, everybody. I've been in the business 5 years, and some of the information you guys giving out, it was a lot of information. But what I want to know is how much is the fine? Because I have all the permits, necessary permits for the World Cup to operate, but I still will be limited to 5 locations that really it's hard for a food truck to make money now. So I want to know how much the fine I'm asking for a friend. How much because what we are running into is one guy wants to charge us $300,000 for a month to lease at a parking lot. But if we pay the $300,000, we still don't have a public vending permit, nor can he provide a bathroom for us to use to stay in compliance. We need to know how can we vend on a public street during the World Cup. You know, if space is gonna be made for food trucks, or city-owned property gonna be available for the food trucks, because we're gonna be basically robbed trying to sign up and work these parking lots, what they asking for the food truck. I can't sell that many chicken wings to pay somebody $10,000.
Right.
I'm telling you, that's what they're asking.
Okay,
So, and
we asked code enforcement to come. Unfortunately, code enforcement couldn't make it today. Maybe District and Darren could help out, but, during FIFA, it's kind of different. I don't think you can even come and drive in that FIFA zone when it comes. And to set up, if you set up, it's probably gonna be parking lots outside of that FIFA zone. Hopefully, the next workshop that we can have someone from code enforcement to come and speak to fines and how they will be out, ticketing people. And once we find that information, we'll share it with them, but we'll have District to speak.
Hey, everybody, just to give you an idea, just on the fine aspect, it's $1,500 right off top with the city of Atlanta. You're dealing with court dates, and if you get caught more than twice, they can actually ban you from ever being a vendor in Fulton County again. So that's not the route you really want to go. Darren and I were actually at the Super Bowl a few years back, and we can kind of speak and give you a rough idea of how it's going to go here in Atlanta. You have a lot of different organizations putting together spots. You have a company, the Solomon Group, who, to my understanding, has Centennial Park. Okay, so you have the Atlanta Beltline also trying to work on different locations. You have Invest Atlanta and all of the different organizations trying to find spots. But there are a lot of pieces to that puzzle. To my understanding, as of Friday, the permits for all of the spots that needed to be put in for or in order to vend at the World Cup needed to be submitted by this week. So keep a lookout into the city website for the events, because those are the individuals who've actually applied for those events, and they're going to be the people looking for vendors. You know, going back to what the mayor's office just said, there's going to be a lot of different stuff around, and if you want to jump in on that at all.
You could.
So, you know, it's everyone in this room is, I want to say thank you for everyone for being here, from the Beltline to the city of Atlanta, mayor's office, Invest Atlanta, Kelsey, everybody. Because these are the people who can share the most information with you about what's going to happen here during the World Cup, but they can't guarantee any one of us a spot to vend. So you have to be your own business. You have to do your own due diligence. You have to look at that, look at the people who have applied for those permits, the special administrative permits, because those will be the ones who have access to locations if their locations are approved. But even if those locations, anyone, you know, just jumping back to what you said, you're going to have people saying, oh, I got a gas station, I got this, you can vend that. Be careful and ask the questions. Is this authorized? Is it okay with the health department? Is it okay? Is it an approved lot with the city of Atlanta? Because what's going to happen, you know, when you're talking about FIFA, first and foremost, you're talking about security. You're talking about having basically 8 Super Bowls in 1 month. Okay, so the security in the city of Atlanta is going to be through the roof. So anyone who starts popping up is going to get shut down, believe me. And you don't want those headaches. You do not want those headaches. You don't want to go and pay somebody thousands of dollars to vend, and then you get shut down, they get shut down, ask the questions. Do you have the proper permits in place? Is this an authorized location? Do you have a special administrative permit to have our trucks here or have our business on site? You know, you have to do everything you can to protect yourself. You know, everyone that's come out has been here as a great resource. You know, starting with, you know, the city of Atlanta, starting with the mayor's office, Invest Atlanta, Atlanta Headline, DPH. Just to give you a heads up, during the Super Bowl, when me and Darren did the Super Bowl, we found a parking lot that actually pulled a permit, and it was right next to the Ferris wheel at the time. We also all got hit with different fees, literally like the week of the event, because we were unaware. It was our first time, you know, doing stuff like that. Well, my first time at least. But we had to go and pay additional APD permits. Every person who worked on my truck had to go get a background check done. So that was X amount of hundreds of dollars per person. I believe it was $200 or $300 per person at that time. In addition, although we were already licensed in the city of Atlanta, because the trucks were sitting in a parking lot and weren't going to be moved, they actually made us file for temporary permits for the event for 2 weeks, which was an additional, I want to say another $700 or $800 to be there. And we were inspected twice a day. And they do that. And I would say anywhere you go to vend, inspect, if it's a DPH authorized event, Department of Health authorized event, expect to be inspected 2 times a day. They want to ensure food quality, food safety for everyone coming in from out of town and for everyone who's here, just in general, food safety for everyone. So, you know, it doesn't give our city a bad name. The last thing I would just say is going back, each and every one of us here, we are our own business. You know, you have to make sure you do the research for yourself. Although there's going to be events at Centennial Park and Invest Atlanta, Pittsburgh Yards, they're going to all be around. Ask the questions, make sure you're permitted the right way, and make sure they're permitted the right way to protect yourselves. Other than that, I can say, I wish everyone in this room the best of luck, because what we don't want to see as City of Atlanta businesses is people come from other states and take the money that we should rightfully have the opportunity to try to get.
Each was spot on. I just go over again about the Georgia. I'm trying to like knock that in terms of the FIFA part. Georgia World Congress Center is managing. They brought on Solomon Wing. We've been in the meetings with them. They want to support local. They want to push local. See everything about local. They're in the planning process. So making sure that you're signed up for that is the path there. In terms of where you said about different from other spaces or how it goes with this one, somebody like say they are going to be shutting down hard. A lot of this just deals with safety. And like I say, everything has been heightened to a whole nother level because unfortunately the events that happened last year with Super Bowl in New Orleans. So when people say about why are they like this or what's going on here, is that safety is the most paramount place they look at it, and they're going to be very tight on that part. And so there will be information that we're going to be sending out often. So please sign up, whoever, so we can make sure that everyone's taken care of, because there is a concerted effort to make sure everybody has as much information as possible. Said it right there, which is everybody's their own business. What we could at least do is make sure you have the information, you know, the clarity, you know, how it works for you. From there, we want to make sure that we provide that. So outside of that, everything else was.
We're gonna have city planning, and we're gonna take 2 or 3 more questions.
Yeah, I just want to add, outside of these special event permits, these special access permits, these festival permits that these private corporations are putting together, or Invest Atlanta is putting together, or the Georgia State, whatever. Outside of what they're putting together, we are working to implement new locations. Again, I'll reiterate, we have 6 locations. 2 of the 6 are in the safe zone. Before you buy that permit, go to your council member and say, we want more locations. Then we can do our job, implement the locations, and you'll have more access to locations. But go to your council. Thank you.
Question right here.
I was just wondering the website for sign up, because you mentioned the Georgia World Congress Center, but I can't find exactly where to sign up for this information. Thank you.
The best way is, I think everybody sign up here. We'll send out another message. So the procurement website for the state. So saying we had to be a vendor for the city, be a vendor for the, so things we tell people about being large scale event ready, we start with being a vendor with your state, your county, your city. These all get managed differently. So sometimes events are managed straight through the stadium. Sometimes they run through the city. Sometimes they run through the state. So just covering your bases on all of those helps you in terms of also having the information. So we'll make sure to send that out. So I was just saying that because of the Georgia World Congress Center owning and operating the FIFA Fan Fest, the RFPs, the opportunities, what they're looking like, it's going to go through their process, not the city of Atlanta's process, not the county's process. So we'll make sure to send that information out to everyone. But that's it.
Hello, I have a question for the permitting department. Are you guys opening the lottery for the push cards this year? And if so, when?
Thank you. So, the goal is to not hold the lottery. The goal is to legislatively change the model of the program from the lottery system to the reservation system, much like the food truck program. Regardless, that won't happen until post World Cup.
Okay.
So no lottery.
There won't be any push cart opportunities until after August or after July.
Worst case scenario. If we're trying to get the reservation model implemented, but those locations will be like outside of the World Cup FIFA perimeter. We're targeting parks. So no guarantee. It's about what we can get through legislation and through council. But yeah, go ahead.
Is there anything like outside of FIFA for the push cart, or is everything dependent on when FIFA decides it?
I think Invest may have some push cart programming happening, but we will not.
Okay.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Well, good afternoon. So I had a couple of questions that were already answered, but Invest Atlanta was referring to funding not being available for vehicles, but a trailer is technically not a vehicle. So I mean, would that be included? And after this, I just have one more question. Or even push carts.
Mike's over there. Just speak out loud. You should just speak up. Come on up here. You guys are young. Oh, yes. There you go. Chris, come on. Don't let me lie. We're saying that mobile carts, food trucks, trailers, it's not something that Invest Atlanta funds.
I want to say the carts. Okay, the carts we may be able to get that one approved. Trailers and food trucks, I would say a no to. But the push carts, we could probably do that one.
Okay, this is probably our last question.
I'm sorry, I have one more. It's really quickly. And to the nightlife young lady, I'm not sure what the address was, the email address or what have you, because you went through it kind of quickly. So I just.
ATL Film,
ENT.
ENT
The Instagram.
is the Instagram. There's no email address directly
No email
to
address, that's the Instagram.
the operator on Instagram. ENT. ATL Film, ENT. ATL Film, ENT. One more question.
Good afternoon. My name is Rosie. I've been in business for 6 years and I am a mobile bakery. And so I'm a prepackaged bakery, so we don't cook on site. Everything is done before we get there. We were actually under the cottage license, but they discontinued all of that. So how would that work for vendors like us who are licensed in the state? We do very large events at multiple locations and want to be a part of the opportunities that you have here because we're not a food truck, but we are a branded tenant organization. How does that work for tenant vendors like us who don't cook? We do go through the same health inspections because we do have to have our certain wash things with certain things cold. So how does that work for vendors like us?
I know you're looking at me because it's directed in a couple of directions, right? There was the mobile food success was intentional because I knew somebody like you was gonna be here, right? I knew it.
I was like, everybody's not a food truck. Everybody doesn't just cook food places and do hot dog stands. I know somebody like you, and I'm glad you stood up. So part of it is that on Showcase, the vendor directory and the pop-up directory is not just for food. The pop-up directory is for artisans, creatives, things like that. So if you sell shea butter, you sell trinkets and necklaces, all the way to prepackaged foods. The pop-up is not necessarily specifically for food trucks. So that variety, when we send out information about what we're looking for particular events, that's how we can communicate that. However, when we're talking about plans, take a look at that back page real quick. If I'm not a food truck, I'm not that type of vendor, how do I, like the Grant Park vending, they usually have a permit and then that's how they get communicated with? Like if I don't cook the food there, the permit still necessary?
Yeah, so if Grant Park, well, I'll say this, DPR is having their own watch party programming. So if you're interested in operating in a park, so directly Department of Parks and Recreation, and you can contact somebody to go on their programming. And again, there are small private corporations that are obtained a federal permit and the location is Grant Park or another park, and they would be the people you contact about getting involved. And for the city of Atlanta, public right-of-way streets and sidewalks, again, our goal is to, well, I'll say we are moving from the lottery model to a reservation model where we will make these locations available. What we don't know is when that's going to happen. So I would encourage you to, we'll just get the slide deck after the meeting, look at our website, sign up. For each program, we have interest forms where you can just enter your email and you'll get notified as soon as we have updates. And then as soon as we make that available, then, you can get a permit.
I think what Frank was mentioning too was, it's two different permits. You have Department of Agriculture and you have Department of Health. And you're talking about your license through Department of Agriculture, correct?
Yeah, but they don't make you do that anymore.
Yeah, you don't have to have, that's right. You don't need it. The Department of Agriculture used to make you get a license every year for prepackaged foods.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, they changed the law. Now you don't need a license.
I'm still licensed through the state, like my business is registered. But I was just asking, like, for something like the World Cup, because everything is kind of like geared toward the food trucks type.
No.
Oh, well, okay, so.
Yeah.
When you hear the Food Truck Association, they don't really allow tenant vendors. They haven't to come in. So I'm asking, like, how would vendors like us have opportunity with World Cup?
Yeah. Again, part of it is there are different avenues. As I say, there's different ways to skin a cat. I don't know why they say that because I've never skinned a cat before, but there are different ways to get to there. And this is one of them. Again, there also there are businesses that are looking for what you're doing. They're like, hey, I need to have this. I want to make sure all my dignitaries that come in town have access to this. There's different resources. Part of the uniqueness of your question is a community question. You don't know what options are out there. Somebody brings it up, and it might not be because they're talking to me. It might be because they're talking to him. And they're like, yeah, I need you to do X, Y, Z. But also, do you have somebody that does this? Do you know anybody? And that's usually how the network in the community starts to activate. But there are people in this room that have those answers. Told y'all, don't start looking for all the answers because the answers in this room, because we all have a different piece and different relationship and different reach. I give access to my side, and then the community gives access to their side, and that's how we all work together. Makes sense?
Kelsey.
Yes.
Just to kind of add from Invest Atlanta standpoint, we would look at you as like a home-based company. So we only have one program that can support home-based companies. You have to be located within the city of Atlanta, but you have to be in operation for at least 2 years, and you can't be filing a loss those last 2 years. So that's how you could qualify through Invest Atlanta, your current situation.
Okay, hello everyone. So my question is, I'm kind of not a vendor or none of that, but I do have a registered nonprofit. And so I go out and I feed the homeless and different things of that nature. And I've run into some occurrences, it could be about, can't be here and this and the other. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of permit do I need for the nonprofit to be able to give out the food to the homeless.
You can't even feed the homeless. Okay, so to the question for feeding the homeless, a couple years ago, they started, making, people get permits to hand out food. I don't know what it's even called now.
That's probably special events.
Special
and they
events,
couldn't
maybe?
be here today. Maybe if we can have them or get that information and send it out to the attendees.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that, but it is a permit now. I don't know how much it is, but to feed the homeless now, yeah, you gotta have a permit or they will stop you. But, we'll get your information and email you. Anybody else? Okay. Oh, sorry,
How y'all doing? I'm Danielle with Sometimes Hearing. I have kind of two questions. My first question is for the authorization to operate in City of Atlanta. Is that something that you have to renew yearly?
Yes.
Yes, yearly.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then my second part question is, which department determined how large the base of operations has to be for food trucks? I feel like, I don't know if anybody else has a food truck in here, but it is super small and almost like impossible to really run your business out of what the square footage is for the price that we have to pay. There's no way for you to really be able to scale your business in that small of an area. I don't know if that's a legislation thing or.
Just to give you an idea, for your commissary, for your base of operations, it just needs to be functional. So your business runs may not be the way that my business runs. We're a dessert company. We don't have a lot of prep the way you may have. So you may have rooms that you see as small as 50 square feet, 100 square feet that have the bare minimum, which is your 3-compartment sink and a hand wash sink. The only sinks that are allowed to be shared at a commissary are a mop sink. So if you have other tenants, they can share a mop sink, but they can't share 3-compartment sinks or hand wash sinks to prevent cross-contamination. So there's no set size. So for somebody who's a dessert company like mine, where I don't need a whole kitchen, we can operate out of a 50-foot space with just the sinks that we need to wash our dishes and handle it in the right way. But then somebody, depending on your business, the way you operate, you may require something big. So there's no set size. Yeah, there's no minimum size or maximum size. It's just what works for your business.
Okay, so then, I get directed strictly to prep and clearing the building. Where did you all get that parameter from? Because, I mean, it's just not a lot of space.
What do you mean by parameter? Like the price of it?
I wasn't gonna go on price, but, I'm strictly, solely off of the square footage, like the smallest one that is offered before the next tier up, it's not that large of a jump of space.
Yeah.
And as far as prepping, I don't really think that it's a lot of space for you to actually be able to operate in.
That's kind of more to the planning scale. Like all that was kind of set place before I started. We kind of just trying to figure out like the average what people need. Because not a lot of food trucks do, like you see, like not a lot of food trucks do the prep that you're kind of describing in the space. So a lot of them are okay with the smaller one. It's gonna be like the math of kind of figuring out like when we have a size building, what like works. It does come down to the money question of like we need to fill the space in a certain amount of units to like make the money ourselves. So like it's kind of like figuring that out backwards from it. I don't think they necessarily had a thought of like, oh, people need 500 square feet this many times sort of thing.
Right. So do you think people are not prepping in that space because two parts, there's either the distance from where they're actually operating, they're not going there to do that prep, or because it's just, I know in my case is that I can't really scale within those.
I can't really say. I don't think the distance necessarily matters because like you theoretically have to be coming back to your commissary every day when you're not in work anyway. So it's like we have to operate under the expectation that members are following health code, and that's what health code says. As to your second question, I mean, sometimes I think people just want to like save themselves time and do the prep on the truck or trailer and just cook right there too. I can't really say other than that.
I know it didn't answer your question, but there's a couple of things I can give you some insight on.
is they did say that they do have 5 locations. And I am aware that I worked with them heavily on this last location that they had in the city of Atlanta. That there's a lot of thought process into what this one is built for. Depending on which one it is, they're built specifically for certain reasons, and they get a lot of feedback. So some people, like he was saying, I don't need that much stuff. I do my stuff here. I come back, I wash my stuff out, I keep it moving. But some people actually doing prep, so it depends on what they have available, what you need, and then you work that relationship out, figure out get what you need. So it's not like what you chose is what they would have chose. That makes sense. But I know they put thought process outside in their plan. I know.
Okay, so we want to thank each and every one of you all for coming and supporting us today. I want to say thank you to Kelsey on behalf of the Food Truck Association. This was a thought for Kelsey, and he said, let's come together and let's thank you to my right hand, Lisa. And so if you have any additional questions, we have a food truck outside. You can meet up at the food truck and some of the board members can answer your questions. And we also have waters in the back. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna email you. Oh, okay. You now. But no, that's the thing, God. Okay, you just all right.
Sundays are very rarely Yeah, so I'm a member. We have association. Like so my school, every hospital has construction site, data center. Now it's not what you do every day.
Another one that was talking, I guess, that there were the part of. I think of the name. But no, right. It is false. I don't even know. Right now. They tell me to talk to like their other people. So maybe not. When I can send you information. Making big only because we do cherry blossom, but I'm not even doing it. I have a lot of ones that I work in. Under the thing by Brady.